So, tier list, ranking every Premier League team by this season. We've got amazing, quite good, same as always, quite bad, not good enough. So yeah, we're going to be ranking every Premier League team by this season. Yeah, it's, I've never done a tier list before, so yeah. So yeah, ranking every Premier League team by this season. So we've got Brentford first. Thomas Frank. He is one of the best managers in the Premier League this season as well. Brentford have beat Man City twice this season. They are a brilliant team. We're unlucky to get into Europe, but Thomas Frank can keep doing that next season, can do that next season. Thomas Frank could even maybe challenge for the league with Brentford next season. They don't have Ivan Toney, but Brentford is not a one-man team. As we saw yesterday, they've got some great players in their squad. They have some brilliant players. So it's not just about one player. There's a group of players in that team. Yeah, there's a group of players in that team. It's not just about Ivan Toney. Just because he's been banned for 8 months does not mean Brentford will struggle. So yeah, Brentford probably, actually, I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to put them in amazing. You heard it here first. It's happening. They're in amazing. Because they have had an amazing season. Narrowly missed out on Europe. Were so unlucky to not get that Europa Conference League place. But Brentford, I can assure you, will do that again next season. And could possibly challenge for the title. Everton. What to say about Everton? Wow. Okay, so this season has been a roller coaster. It has been a roller coaster. And when I say roller coaster, what I mean by that is they've had two managers, manager Frank Lampard and then move on to Sean Dyche. But this season has been chaotic. Last season, narrowly missed out on relegation. This season, if that game had stayed 0-0, Leicester would be in the Championship right now. It's how Sean Dyche has taken them from being a relegation side to surviving on the last day. Obviously, Everton, they will have another season in the Premier League. But yeah, Everton. Do I go with not good enough or quite bad? You know what? They didn't get relegated, so I'm gonna go with quite bad. They didn't get relegated, so I will give them quite bad. Yeah. So Leicester, they're now relegated after 7 years in the Premier League. Now relegated. I didn't see that coming all season. I don't think anyone saw that coming all season. I think their squad, they've got big players that are gonna go. They've got Tielemans that could go. Vardy, I think, could probably retire at the end of next season. James Maddison, who will probably sign for another Prem club, might sign for Luton. You know, it could happen. Leicester have been relegated now. 7-year reign in the Prem is now over, and they have to return back to the Championship. Yeah, I did not see that coming all season. So Jamie Vardy could be playing his last ever Premier League title. Last ever season in the Championship. Next season could be his last ever season, because I think he's getting older now. He could retire next season. James Maddison, he'll go. Tielemans will go. I've never seen a worse keeper than Danny Ward. They need to get him out of the club straight away. Danny Ward, he's just really bad. Danny Ward is just bad. I can say the same for Everson as well. Although Everson, I can't think of a moment where Everson was actually good this season. Everson's not great either. If they'd have kept Schmeichel, they wouldn't be in this position right now. But they sold Schmeichel, which was a big mistake. And, you know, if they'd have kept Schmeichel, probably wouldn't be relegated right now. Where do we put Leicester then? I'm stuck between quite bad and not good enough. I think we have to go not good enough. Yeah, not good enough, Leicester. Yeah, we have to go not good enough because Leicester have not been good at all this season. And obviously, yeah. Leicester, it was going to be inevitable at some point. But last season they were playing Europa Conference League football. Season before that, they narrowly missed out on the Champions League. Season before that, they were FA Cup winners. I just don't get Leicester, to be honest. Bournemouth now. So, this start to the season was a bit rocky. I think, were they in the relegation zone? I think they were at the start of the season. But Gary O'Neill has done a superb job with Bournemouth this season. He will be a nominee for Manager of the Season. And he can be named one of the best managers in the Premier League. This is the first season that all three teams that were promoted from the Championship, newly promoted teams, have stayed up. This is the first time all three newly promoted Championship teams have stayed up. And Bournemouth, yeah, they've got some good players. They've got some good players. Dominic Solanke, Billing. They've got some good players in their team. And I can't see why they can't stay up next season. Can't see why they can't do it again next season because they've had a great season this season with Gary O'Neill at the helm. And Gary O'Neill, I think, will stay at Bournemouth unless if they somehow qualify for Europa football next season, they might find a new manager. But for now, Gary O'Neill is staying at Bournemouth unless Bournemouth do really bad next season. But I don't think Bournemouth will do bad next season. So yeah, I'm going to go all out. I'm not going to put them in amazing, but they're going in quite good. Yeah, they're going in quite good. Only one word to say about Bournemouth. Incredible season at the Vitality Stadium and where they've played other games this season. They beat Liverpool 1-0 this season, so yeah, Bournemouth have done absolutely brilliantly. And yeah, best of luck for next season. So, Brighton. Only one word to say about their season. One word. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. Roberto De Zerbi. Round of applause. What a manager. What a manager Roberto De Zerbi is. He deserves 5 or 6 years at that club. If he stays at that club, wow, that's going to be some team. That is going to be some team. Although Caicedo and McAllister are leaving the club, so yeah, might add a bit of weakness to their club next season. But they do have Enciso, who is a brilliant player. Evan Ferguson could be leaving, but if they do manage to keep him, he will be a good asset to their team. They've got Matoma. They've got a good squad. They've got a really, really good squad. First time in their history that they've been able to be in a Europe competition next season, the Europa League. Not quite the Champions League, but I think Brighton will take that any day of the year. So, yeah. Brighton, have played amazing throughout this season. Brighton have been absolutely incredible. 6 years ago, they'd only just been promoted to the Premier League, and 6 years later, they are in the Europa League. Liverpool could easily face Brighton in the Europa League. Brighton, although they are losing McAllister and Caicedo, they've got a good team. And they're in the Europa League next season. It would help to keep McAllister and Caicedo, but I think they can do without. I think they can deal without Caicedo and Alexis McAllister, because they're just a good team and that's what they do. I'm going to do it. Amazing. They're going top tier. Who'd have thought Bournemouth, Brentford and Brighton would be in the top tier? I mean, they're in the top tier of English football and they're in the second tier of European football. Right, Fulham. Good season. A good season. Not going to lie, good season. Marco Silva. Yeah, round of applause, Marco Silva, because he has kept Bournemouth up. That's more than any Bournemouth. What am I about Bournemouth? Fulham. Yeah, Fulham. He's managed to keep Fulham up. That's more than any Fulham manager's done over the past few years. This is their first season that they've been able to stay up in the Premier League, and they've done a good job. Fulham have. They've got a great team in Palhinha, Mitrovic. They've got Tete playing for them. Tete does play for Fulham, I think, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah, they've got a good team. They've got a good team in those players, and if he signs some more players over the summer transfer window, that team will be amazing next season. Not quite amazing just yet, but next summer, next season, and the next season might be amazing. So, where to put Fulham in this tier list? It's not amazing. They haven't had an outstanding season like Brentford and Brighton have, but they've had an alright season. So, you know what? I think we put them in quite good. Yeah, I think we put them in quite good because it has been quite good. It hasn't been outstanding, but it has been alright. Yeah, it's been quite good. Aston Villa. What Unai Emery has done with this team alone this season is incredible. Aston Villa have gone from being close relegation battlers a couple of seasons ago to being in the Europa Conference League. Aston Villa in the Europa Conference League. This league is becoming really competitive. Some of these teams like Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Aston Villa are really starting to compete against the likes of City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal. They're really starting to compete against these big teams now. Aston Villa, where do I put them? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give Aston Villa the full credit. Amazing. They go top tier. They do what they do. They go in top tier. West Ham. They've had a rocky season. One point where they could have been relegated, and now they're in the Europa Conference League final. You see, West Ham, they're a complicated team. They are a really, really complicated team. David Moyes has been their manager for what? 2-3 years. And not once has he ever got them into a European final in the 2-3 years he's been there. Massive respect to David Moyes for this season, though. From being close relegation battlers to being in the Europa Conference League final, first time they've been in an actual major European final for 47 years. 47 years they've had to wait for this. And it's over the next week that West Ham play this final. And, well, I can't put them in quite good because it's not been a quite good season. I'm not going to put them in quite bad. Same as always. Same as always. It is the same as always, though, because every season they're in the bottom half of the table. Last season got to the Europa League final. This season they've got to Europa Conference League final. But it's the same season as always, really. It is just the same season as always. Newcastle. Wow. Champions League football next season at St James's Park is going to be immense. What Eddie Howe's done for this team this season alone is wonderful, amazing, incredible, absolutely astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. This football club will become, already is, the top 6 team. I mean, they're in the Champions League, so that does count top 6 team. No one would have said at the start of the season Newcastle will be in the Champions League next season. Newcastle are in the Champions League. I can't believe my words. It's going to be so exciting. Next season is going to be so exciting. Missed out on 3rd. Unlucky to get 3rd. They did miss out on 3rd, but they got 4th. That's all that matters. Champions League football secured for next season. That's going to be immense at St James's Park. Champions League football. Going to have that big patch on the side of his shirt next season. There's only one place this wonderful, amazing team can go. Right up to the top tier. Right up to the top tier. What a team this team is. Isak, Alexander Isak, Murphy, Willock, Kieran Trippier, Nick Pope. Nick Pope is going to be playing Champions League football next season and could also be England's number 1 as well. Yeah, Haaland has obviously had a brilliant season. Got 40 goals. And he is Premier League Golden Boot winner in his first season in the Premier League. It's just mad how he does it, just like that. Just does it like that. Yeah. And Pep Guardiola is a wonderful manager, could win them a treble, but they're not going in quite good or amazing. They've won another title, could be on for a treble. Same as always. They're going in the same as always because it is just the same season as always. They just win the Premier League title every season. They just batter teams. So it is the same season as always. Southampton, bottom tier. You know why? Relegation. They're going to have a lot of players go from their club next season. James Ward-Prowse especially. Bella Kotchap probably go as well. Romeo Lavia. Alcaraz. Bazunu might stay. Kaleta will go. There is a lot of players from that team that we will not see if they get promoted in the Premier League. Promoted to the Premier League. There is a lot of players that we will not see in the Premier League 2024 if they get promoted back to the Prem. And it's going to be hard to get them back into the Premier League for the for the standard that it is, because they normally don't have a bad season. They normally hover sort of around the bottom six, normally either 11th, 15th, 16th, 13th. I don't think they've had a season this bad in 11 years. I don't think they've had a season this bad in the whole time they've been in the Premier League. They've been in the Premier League for 11 years, longer than Leicester, and I don't think they've had a worse season than this. I did not expect Southampton to be relegated. The three teams that were relegated, I didn't think would get relegated. But, the relegation zone doesn't lie, it tells facts. So, Southampton do go in the bottom tier because they've been relegated. It's not the same season as always because of the relegation. They maybe would have been put in same season as always, but it's got to go in bottom tier. So, Crystal Palace. Yeah. Interesting season because they had Vieira sacked at the start of the season, and then Hodgson came in for his second spell at the club and made Eze into prime Thierry Henry. Eze, he's done alright. He's done alright this season. He's done alright. Eze could possibly be a young talent to watch for next season for some Premier League clubs. So where do we put them in this tier list? Well, you got to put them in quite good, haven't you? Because it has been quite good for Crystal Palace this season. Rocky start, but good towards the end. So Wolves and their team, it needs massive improvement because they were close to being relegated from the Premier League this season. Didn't make the top 10, I don't think. Lopetegui needs to start making improvements to this Wolves team before something goes badly wrong. And they could be relegated next season if they don't improve their team. Because that team just isn't really the standard of the Premier League. Just having Ruben Neves could be moving. Oh, Ruben Neves could be moving. So just having Ruben Neves up front every single game just isn't what you need for the Premier League. They need to sign someone like, Nunes. One of their players, Nunes, hasn't done great either. He's had a few moments in the Prem, but there's not been many times where he's been like a key player. But yeah, Wolves do go into same as always because it is the same season as always. No one's arguing with that. Well, maybe Wolves fans, but no one's arguing with that. 11 months ago, this would have been not good enough, but it's now quite good because Manchester United, from last season to now, have been a brilliant team. From last season to now, they've won their first trophy in 6 years. Marcus Rashford getting on every score sheet. Didn't get anywhere in the Europa League. Could have been in the final if they had won to Sevilla. But they just need to go again next year. They've signed an amazing player, Casemiro. They've got a good team. Erik ten Hag's rebuilding the team. They could be on for a takeover. Finally, the takeover might be coming for Man United. And I will not be surprised next season if they make top 4 again because this season's been brilliant for Man United. But I do think they need a switch up of the captain because Bruno Fernandes, he's a brilliant player, but his attitude problem is not good enough for being a captain. For being a captain, you need to be a firm leader. You need to be a leader in a leadership team. And that's just not what he does. When they lost 7-0 to Liverpool, he wanted to go off the pitch because he got bored. That's not what a captain does. Harry Maguire isn't a leader either. He's just really bad. So I think maybe they should give the captain's armband to someone like Lisandro Martinez or maybe even David De Gea. But I think Bruno should be taken off of captaincy role because his attitude problem is a disgrace. But Man United do go quite good because they have been a brilliant team this season. Hate to say it's a Liverpool fan, but they have been a great team this season. Better than Liverpool. So yeah, quite good. So, Liverpool. They have had a different season. They've had a season where not many fans would have expected this. They've had a different season, but they've signed a brilliant player for next season, Cody Gakpo. 7 goals in his first Premier League season, only 4 months in, and he scored 7 goals already. I think he's got 2 assists and made like 13, 14 appearances for Liverpool this season. And he has been a brilliant player for Liverpool. Actually, has he made 31 appearances? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many appearances he's made, actually. Probably I should know that as a Liverpool fan. He's made something like, he has like 31 appearances or something. I could be wrong, but yeah. Yeah, he scored 7 goals. United fans would say that he would be a flop this season, but he's been nothing near a flop for Liverpool, and he will continue to be great for Liverpool. He even said on the last Anfield game of the season that to stay at Liverpool would be his dream, and he's excited for next season. So that just shows how much Liverpool means to Cody Gakpo already, and he should stay at the club for a few years. He could become another Mohamed Salah, the Dutch king, maybe not the Egyptian king, but the Dutch king. I mean, that was probably Cruyff, but yeah. Anyway, Liverpool, I'm stuck between not good enough and quite bad. I think we go quite bad because near towards the end of the season they picked the form up a bit, so I think we go quite bad for this one. Not bottom tier because they've managed to kind of rejuvenate this season towards the end of it, so yeah. They don't go into bottom tier. So, Arsenal. Not gonna lie. Really, really good. Really, really, really good. And they're back. They are starting to come back. They will be one of the main challengers for the title next season. I'm guaranteeing that. And they might have the same season as Liverpool next season. Because we're hyping them up now, but they could have a really bad season next season. It might just be a one-season wonder, who knows. But, yeah. Gabriel Jesus, if he keeps banging goals like this for Arsenal, then he will be one for the history books. There's also Saka, who we can't ignore. Martinelli, Ødegaard could probably be nominated for Young Player this season. Ramsdale's not too bad either. He could be a call for England. Number 2, maybe. Yeah, I think this season has been... It's been a mismatch, really, because they went the longest at the top of the table without winning it. 248 days. But anyway, nonetheless, amazing. Top tier, because they do play top tier football, and they are starting to become a top tier team. No one's stopping Arsenal at the minute. Well, last season anyway, but yeah. We can't ignore how good Arsenal have been last season. Leeds, we all know where they're going. Straight to not good enough. They have been one of the worst teams in this Premier League season. Not surprised that they're relegated. Their 3-season year reign in the Premier League has now officially come to a conclusion. And not surprised that they're gone down, to be honest, because it was always going to happen. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Leeds, they're done. Nottingham Forest, they have had a good first season back in the Prem. They've narrowly avoided relegation. They are now safe and still in the Premier League. I'm going to put them in quite good because I think they deserve it. They've been a good team over the course of this season. They've got a full new squad. Taiwo Awoniyi is one of their best players. They signed Emmanuel Dennis hoping that he would be a good player because he had been a good player that recent season for Watford, but he just turned out to be a bit of a flop. But yeah, Nottingham Forest do go into quite good. That is the end of that tier list. If you enjoyed that video, you know what to do, which means like, subscribe, and turn post notifications on, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.